like a Hellcat.
Getting into the final two weapons of this series, we go with the Bulldog. The not really a spiritual successor or replacement for the previous shotgun, just a weapon that fills a kind of combat shotgun role, but not as well as the previous shotguns. I'll get into it more once we start getting into the gameplay. So my biggest issue with this weapon is just it's not, you know, it's the nostalgia bit. I really wanted the previous shotgun to still be in the game, not be removed from the game at the cost of a slightly worse shotgun class weapon. But oh well. But yeah, so as a shotgun, I personally don't feel it does enough close range damage. Of course, we'll get into that whenever we actually get into the playing around with it. But I don't feel like it does the damage that it should if it's going to be filling the role. I keep on saying feel. If it's supposed to be filling the role of a shotgun. Because of course, as you've seen there, it takes 2 headshots to, you know, actually kill an enemy player Spartan. When in like previous Halo games, heck, a single body shot from close enough range could kill somebody with a shotgun. And I feel like just that being removed, the ability to just be, because if it's supposed to be a close quarters weapon, it shouldn't be able to be out damaged and out rate of fired by some of the, well, less damage per shot weapons in the game. And just because it can be, well, one, outranged, out rate of fired, and out damaged by them at that further range. The previous shotgun in the previous Halo games didn't necessarily do that much damage at close range, but what it did was it could just, or at further ranges, what it did do is it could just kill if you get close enough. It could just one-shot kill if you get close enough, and I don't really know why they removed that. And if I'm gonna be entirely honest, I probably wouldn't change this weapon too much. I don't think it, in its current state, not being a individual shell loading shotgun, it's a clip-based shotgun. I personally don't think it should be taking the place of the classic shotgun. I personally think the classic shotgun should be in the game. I would honestly probably be fine if they waited till like they actually introduced the Flood game mode or the Flood into the campaign or something like that, and make that the moment where they introduce it where it should and has historically fit into the game anyway. But if we had to change it in order to make it as close to that weapon as possible, because once again, my main issue with the weapon is that I feel like it's in the game at the cost of the much preferred shotgun. I would not necessarily have a problem with the role it fills. It definitely fills the role of a non-power weapon shotgun, where the original shotgun definitely filled the role of a more power weapon. Whereas like this, the Heat Wave, and probably the Mangler should all fill the same power weapon tier. The other shotgun would fit with like what the Hydra should be and what it would be after my suggested changes in the next video. And what the Ravager should be after my suggested changes in the previous video. It just should be the next step from the power weapons. So we get like the base spawn weapons, like the pistol, commando, plasma pistol, and then we get the next tier, which is the arguably the battle rifle, the pulse carbine, though I think the pulse carbine's current state doesn't, but the pulse carbine in my suggested state does. And then the next tier would be like the shotgun class weapons, the Heat Wave, and then up there above it would be of course like things like the Ravager, and then previous shotgun, then you get the sniper rifle wannabes, and then you'd get the power weapons. But if we had, like I said, if we had to change it, how would I do that? First off, I think the ammo and the clip thing, with how it's built, with it being a clip, I don't think giving back any of its old ammo capacities would be a good change. So I think leaving that as is would be a good idea. Second would be, and honestly, the previous shotgun did actually have decent range. It could 3-shot at the same range that this weapon could. Or it could 3-shot at a substantial range that would require this weapon to expend like most of its clip, is what I was trying to say. So I would personally ramp up its damage a little bit, enough that you could realistically 3-shot body shot, or 2-shot body shot, 1-shot headshot with it, like the sniper rifle. Of course, it has to be ultra close range and increase its range ever so slightly, because it doesn't need to be too much higher in order to fill the same niche. Now, of course, it would still be fundamentally different. It wouldn't be shell loading, so once you're out of ammo, you have to reload the whole thing. And if we were going to take that approach with the increased damage and increased range, perhaps increasing its reload time a little bit would be a good option. But right now, like I said, because I'm not entirely for doing that, I think just looking past it would be the best idea. Now, what would I do to this weapon to force it into its own very specific niche a little bit more? I personally would take the approach of tightening its spread and increasing its range. So, of course, all those shells would land in a smaller spread pattern, which would in turn give it a little bit more range. I feel like that would turn it into more of a long-range sort of tactical shotgun, where you could be kind of poking around the corner and shoot at someone from further away, than have it be like the combat shotgun that the previous shotguns have been, where they're just designed to run up to somebody and shoot them. I just harpooned that guy to death. But where you could just run up to them and shoot them with it. So I feel like if we want to force it into its own niche, so that the combat shotgun previous games has more room to live its own identity in the sandbox, tighten its spread, which would in turn increase its range, would probably be the best bet to do with it. And maybe, I think they did recently reduce its rate of fire ever so slightly, increase the rate of fire back to what it used to be. So it's not overlapping with the slow, methodical aim stuff, because it's still a little faster than the previous shotguns, but I still think it needs to be pushed back to what it was before its speed was nerfed, if not maybe a little further. Outside of that, I don't really have a lot of changes for the shotgun, because once again, I don't feel like it should be filling the niche of the previous shotgun. I want it to fill its own niche without overlapping too much in the previous shotgun's niche, which is in turn why we don't have the shotgun in the game. And so, all that said, what do you guys think? Tell me your opinions in the comment section down below, and I will see you all in the next one. This is EmeraldAvenger. Have a nice day. Stay safe. Peace out.